Here we are at the home of British motorsport, the resplendent Silverstone circuit, for a brand new season of GB4 action, and this series just grows year on year. We have a record entry this weekend. 29 drivers representing 12 different countries are entered into the race this weekend. Well, 3 races, and we have 9 rookies as well, which is going to become even more important this season in GB4. It's going to be a huge weekend, and we are looking forward to the first race, which is coming up very, very soon. I am Jon Jackson, joined by former British F3 racing driver and F3 commentator with Sky Sports, Piers. GB4 has always been exciting ever since it started, and I remember when it started the grid was a little bit small because it was a brand new championship. We have 29 drivers on their way to the grid right now to race for the first time in 2026. Could that be chaos?
Potentially.
Yes.
But it's great to see the championship is going from strength to strength, not only in terms of quantity, the biggest grid we've ever had. I mean, even a couple of years ago we were in the teens, and now we're nudging 30, but also in quality. It's a really, really strong grid, a stacked grid. Some returning drivers who are looking to take the championship, some really talented and promising young rookies and new drivers of the championship who are looking to take on the established guard, all of which is going to be a nice little melting pot of entertainment for us, people watching from the sidelines.
We've got drivers who did well last year, as you say there. We've got 9 rookies who have never raced a car race before, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. You've got some of those drivers have stepped straight from karting straight into these cars. I mean, it's going to be fascinating. We have a beautiful day here at Silverstone, and that's what you want as a driver. When you turn up at a racetrack, you don't want to open those curtains and see the rain. You want to see the sunshine, you want that track to be warm, and you want to get some heat through your tyres early on.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect conditions, and actually, interestingly enough, we haven't had, those watching in England will know, we haven't had conditions like this much this year. So most of the testing has been done in cool conditions, windy conditions. Even this week, Thursday, it wasn't that warm, which is when the testing started. So bit of something for the new drivers to get used to. They'll have to work less hard getting the tyres up to temperature, but also the tyres might go away towards the end of a session. That'll be interesting to see how they cope with that.
Hey, something big for all the newer drivers to learn as well, getting the temperature into tyres, but also keeping those tyres in good condition. Let's just remind ourselves of the car we're racing with this year. It was upgraded hugely last year. I know you've driven that car, Piers. This is the GB4 car for 2026.
The Tata's MSV GB4025 previously raced in the GB3 Championship between 2022 and 2024, so it's already a hugely proven and well-received machine with excellent levels of reliability and parity. With the all-important Halo cockpit protection device, upgraded safety standards all round, and a revamped technical package. To meet GB4 requirements, the car has single-plane front and rear wings, a naturally aspirated 2-litre 4-cylinder mount-tune engine mounted to a 6-speed SADEV gearbox with paddle shift, bodywork revisions, as well as additional safety upgrades including improved side impact and rollover protection.
Well, that's the car that these 29 drivers will be taking to the grid in very, very soon. There's going to be a lot of new people watching, as I say, 14 different countries represented. So if you're new to GB4, welcome along. To help you get into the swing of things and understand more about the GB4 Championship, here's Lewis to explain.
Welcome to the GB4 Championship. This exciting series is partnered by the BRDC and is managed by MSVR, the dedicated racing arm of Motorsport Vision. It is designed as the perfect entry point for the next generation of racing stars. In 2026, the record grid will feature talented young drivers as young as 15 years old. They'll all be competing in the Tata's MSV GB4025, a nimble and sophisticated machine that teaches them the fundamentals of slicks and wings racing. Every round features a single qualifying session that sets the grid for 3 20-minute races. Each driver's fastest time forms the Race 1 grid, with the Race 2 lineup settled by each driver's second quickest laps. Keep an eye on the third race of the weekend as it features the top 12 reverse grid. This means the fastest qualifiers is pushed back into the heart of the pack, forcing them to race their way through the field. The 2026 season is a marathon of 21 races spread across 7 rounds and 5 iconic circuits. We kick things off at the home of British motorsport at Silverstone. From there, the tour travels to Alton Park in late May, Donington Park in June, and returns to Silverstone and Snetterton in August. We'll head back to Donington Park for the high-stakes penultimate round before rounding out the season at the legendary Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit in late September. On the technical side, you won't see any mandatory pit stops in GB4. Each car is strictly limited to just 6 dry Pirelli tyres per weekend. That's only 1.5 sets. Because of this, tyre management becomes a critical skill. If a driver pushes too hard too early, they'll have nothing left for the final race. There's plenty on the line in 2026. The overall GB4 champion will be awarded a £50,000 contribution towards their 2027 racing programme in GB3. Plus, we have the George Russell Pole Position Cup. Each driver who secures a pole position wins £150, while the driver and the team with the most poles at the end of the year each take home a trophy and an extra £1,000 bonus. The rookie driver with the highest point score at the end of the season will win the inaugural Rookie Driver's title. The top scoring driver from the first 2 races of each weekend also receives an Omologato watch as part of the Omologato One to Watch award. Finally, GB4 is committed to supporting rising talent through the F1 Academy pathway. The highest placed female driver in the final standings will receive a career-changing €50,000 prize. This contribution is specifically designed to help them secure a seat in the 2027 F1 Academy Series, a route several GB4 graduates have followed in recent years.
Thank you very much, Lewis. So yeah, we have 3 20-minute races across the weekend, the first one coming up in a matter of minutes. And as I said, there are 12 different countries represented and 9 rookies on the grid. Piers, to step up from karting straight into a car like this, it might not seem like a big jump, but it will be.
Absolutely, massive jump. You learn the basics of racecraft and how to get a racing machine around the circuit quickly in karts. But the way you do a race weekend, the way you get the performance out of a car is really quite different. To be honest, to a certain extent, I was there. I'd only done 6 car races before I jumped into British F3, which is now GB3 when I started. It was difficult to get the hang of things, especially with the downforce. Like, I remember, I think, Alton Park, there was an island corner is easily flat out. But it takes you a while to trust that the car can actually do it flat out without firing you off the circuit. And also, the weight and the size of the car as well. You need to get used to where the corners are. In racecraft, those rookies will have to learn how to place the car where they need to be on circuit. It takes a little while to get used to. So it's a big learning curve, and we've seen some of the rookies have been very strong already.
Well, look, we have 29 drivers to get through, so hopefully by the end of the season we will have covered every driver. We'll have heard from each driver at least once. One of the 9 rookies making their way onto the grid is the Arden driver Michael Coe, and Piers spoke to him earlier on.
Michael, first of all, great to have you in the championship and great to meet you. Talk to us about your experience leading into this GB4 26 campaign.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be in a Formula car for the first time. I've done some karting, some testing in some Formula 4 and some closed wheel cars. I think generally this car is quite fun to drive. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Great to have you on the grid. I can see you're a smiley face in the paddock. How has your experience of the GB4 car been so far? You're working with Arden. I know they're helping you a lot behind the scenes to get comfortable, but what's it been like?
Yeah, I mean, generally it's been a very nice car to drive. Arden has been able to help me with like setup changes or helping me learn the car, because the first time I stepped in the car was with them. Transitioning from the F4 to GB4, I think generally it's quite a nice car to drive, especially with the differential, but I think it should be a fun car to race with.
And are you looking forward to those races?
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, you're a racer at heart. Let's talk about qualifying. Were you happy with your finish? Were you hoping for more?
I definitely was hoping for more. I think I could have managed the traffic a bit better, but generally, I think the driving was okay. I think we could have just found some clean air and just get some laps in.
I know, of course, you're sporting the Singaporean flag on your car. Do you live in Singapore? Are you commuting? Do you live in the UK? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm originally born in the US. I grew up in Singapore, and now I'm in a boarding school in the UK.
So yeah, not too much flying around the globe for the championship in 2026.
No, not really.
Amazing. And what's your hopes for this 26 season?
Definitely to do as well as possible, to learn as much as possible, and to get some good results.
Well, Michael, great to meet you, and we'll look forward to seeing you get those results on circuit.
Nice meeting you too. Thanks.
And when Michael Coe starts this race from 18th place on the grid, he will become the first Singaporean driver to race in GB4. So loads of different drivers from loads of different places. Conor Grant, also another driver from a different country, Irish. You spoke to him before we hear from him. How do you rate his chances this year?
I mean, it's going to take him a while to get used to. Another one of our drivers with very limited experience.
Another rookie, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Very limited experience. So, again, getting up to speed and getting comfortable and confident is the first battle. Then, once you've got that confidence and you trust the car, you can step forward and look at results.
Well, look, these drivers will have a lot of help around them if it's not from the team, from driver coaches and from people just giving them experience from the position of yourself, Piers, other drivers that have been here in the GB4 Championship. So let's hear from Connor. He'll start 15th.
Connor, great to have you in the GB4 Championship. Welcome, first of all. For those who don't know you, tell us a bit about yourself and what brought you to the GB4 Championship.
So my name's Connor, I'm 18, I'm racing with Douglas Motorsport on the 54. I think it kind of just, GB4 just kind of stuck out to us. You know, I raced a little bit in the US, very similar. But yeah, no, GB4 was a kind of a clear cut, and through the Dempseys, Cliff Dempsey especially, brought me to the team, and you know, it's been pretty much a fairy tale fit since then.
And what racing experience do you have up until now? This isn't your first time in a race car or racing on circuit.
No, so I'm still a rookie, but I've done 2 races in the US, and then before that was all karting. So I did all the Irish racing, and then in 2023, it's when I won my first championship, and then I went race a little bit in Europe, and then yeah, it kind of all rolled into this.
All rolled into this with Douglas, a full roster of cars here. You mentioned already you've settled in well with the team. Talk to us about, we've just had qualifying, how's that gone for you? And what's your hopes for the year ahead?
Yeah, the team are doing a great job. Qualifying was subpar, to be honest. There was a little bit of an incident, which is getting looked at from another driver, but we'll, you know, that'll be sorted out, not by me. I wish, but no. It was a bit disappointing. You know, we've had top 8 pace all weekend, and then to finish where we did in qualifying was real disappointment. But it just shows that our pace is strong enough to go back through in the races, and we'll just have to wait and see what we can do.
Connor, it's great to see we've got a pretty good Irish contingent now in the GB4 Championship. What's your hopes with your racing? You know, you come over from Ireland, you've got a lot of commitment to this championship in your racing career. What do you want to do?
Look, at the moment, I just want to keep learning as much as I can. You know, I've got 2 very experienced teammates in Jason and Dayton, and I just got to keep doing what we've been doing. You know, we've learned a lot in the pre-season, and I think, look, over the next 6 rounds after this one, it's just going to be about learning. And I am still a rookie at this moment in time, so we'll have to wait and see how it seems in the end of the year. But look, we're confident now that we've got the pace at least. Just got to get it all sorted in the races.
Connor, great to meet you, and we look forward to seeing how you get on in this first season in GB4.
Thank you very much.
Connor Grant there with Douglas Motorsport, the Irishman. He's not the only Connor on the grid. However, the second Connor is a year older. Connor Grant is 18. Connor Willis is 19. He's also from the United States of America. If my memory serves me right, and if I got this wrong, I think he's from Illinois. Chicago, Illinois, near about. There's a Willis Tower there. Maybe something to do with the Willis Tower? I don't know. I've been up it once. It was irrelevant. Right, Connor Willis comes into this championship, as I say, not as a rookie, has got some limited race car experience as well. For an American driver to come over to the UK, what would you say is the biggest difference straight away? Because those cars are generally quite different that they drive over there, bigger wheels normally.
Yeah, they normally do have bigger wheels at the similar level, but also getting used to the circuits to a certain extent, because, you know, the people from the American scene, if you've grown up in America, you might have grown up watching American circuits in IndyCar and NASCAR, whereas over here, of course, we have British circuits, and also the way of going racing is slightly different. You hear a lot that the Americans will come over here to get some experience of really hard racing. Notoriously, the European drivers especially race hard, they go right to the limits, and it's very much cutthroat. So we'll have to get used to that. He's a very cheerful chap, is he? And hopefully he's got those hard edges so he can keep his elbows out.
Well, look, he's certainly not wasted any time getting used to the track at Silverstone. He will start 9th on this grid. Let's hear then from Connor Willis, who has nothing to do, I imagine, with the Willis Tower in Chicago.
Connor, welcome to GB4 in 2026. Great to have you on the grid. A smiling face in the paddock. Talk to us about your experience up to date and why you're in GB4 this year.
Yeah, so I moved to the UK just about over a year, and yeah, been located here for a year. Did Formula Ford last year, and now added some wings in GB4.
How has it been adding some wings to those Formula Ford cars? Because they skate around a lot more. I suppose less of that in these.
Yeah, they do. It's so good. Going through turn 1, just a little lift compared to the Formula 4 where it's a pretty big break. And so, yeah, so much fun. It's so fast. Feeling the neck a little bit, and yeah, having a blast. And sunny, beautiful day at Silverstone, so can't ask for a better weekend.
Doesn't get better than this. Talk to us GB4. Why was that your next step after Formula 4's last year?
My dream is to become a Formula 1 world champion and move from Chicago to the UK to be with like-minded individuals. Racing here is just phenomenal. And so GB4 was the next step. We found some partners and stuff, Failing Security, thank you to them. And yeah, now we're here. It's a dream come true.
And it's a competitive grid this year as well. We've got a bumper grid, record entries this year. This weekend, 29 people on the grid. So a lot of competition for you to race against. How have you found that competition so far?
No, I've loved it. It just pushes me. I'm always trying to do the best I can, and don't really look at the competition, but it's just really good. More drivers, the merrier. And so it's just, good to be competing with so many people, so many different talents, and so I'm learning so much, and can't wait to race one.
Exactly. Let's look ahead to the racing now as well. A bit of a different kettle of fish to Formula Fords as well. How do you expect that to go for you?
Just going to do the best I can, and we're going to have a focus on the start, have a good start, just stay present, one lap at a time, and optimize every moment.
And you're racing with Hillspeed, a team with a lot of history, a lot of experience. I suppose things have been going well between you?
Yes, official testing has been great, and the team's just awesome. And we're having fun, a blast on and off the track, and very professional, but also you can have a good time with them. It's just can't ask for more.
Connor, great to meet you, and we look forward to seeing how your progress goes this season.
Thank you.
Connor Willis there, big character, as you said there, from Naperville, Illinois, which is just in the west of Chicago, so you can probably see it from the Willis Tower, I would imagine. Anyway, that's one of our new drivers. Let's take a look at this Silverstone track in a bit more detail before we get out to the race.
The home of British motorsport hosts this weekend's racing for the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, with such iconic corners like the Maggotts Beckett's Chapel section. Head down into Stowe, and of course that Vale Club loop out onto the Hamilton Straight before we head through Abbey, then Farm and into the Village Loop section, out through Aintree, and of course onto the Wellington Straight where we head into Brooklands, and then Luffield to complete the lap here on the national side. It is a long circuit, it is a tricky circuit over the 18 corners, but of course all of those turns are definitely overtaking opportunities here in GB4. Very flat circuit in the run around the 3.6 miles, of course, 5.9 kilometres around the British Grand Prix venue. Of course, that is a look at the Silverstone circuit.
Let's take a lap on board the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit with Arden's Michael Coe in GB4. We head towards Cops Corner, a lift through here, trying to carry as much speed through the apex as possible without running over track limits on the left-hand side on the exit. Michael's got a nice tow from a pace performance car ahead for this one of his qualifying laps. We now head to Maggotts and Beckett's. The goal through Maggotts is to go flat out while staying to the right-hand side as much as possible to open up Beckett's, and then we just carry as much minimum speed through Chapel as possible to give us the best run onto the 770-metre long Hanger Straight. Now, we've seen so many good overtaking moves into Stowe Corner coming up, both inside and outside, and I expect to see more of the same in 2026. Breaking down 2 gears for Stowe, completely blind through the middle of the corner. You have to trust that the car will have the grip so that you don't go over track limits on the exit. We now head down to another overtaking opportunity at Vale. Braking on the right-hand side, try and stay left as far as possible through the left-hander to open up the right-hander of Club. If you've got it right, you can go flat out through here, which will give you the perfect run onto the Hamilton Straight, past the wing on the right-hand side. 500-metre straight, but this section is over a kilometre completely flat out. If you can go flat out through Abbey, this right-hander here, stay within track limits on the left-hand side, and then left is Farm. All we need to do now is get back to the left-hand side to open up the braking of Village. Easy to lock a front brake into here. Don't use all of the circuit because we need to go back to the right to open up the left-hander. Crucial exit here from the loop. Again, the curb comes up quickly, and if you run wide, it'll drag you off the circuit. We go flat out through Aintree now onto the Wellington Straight. Another opportunity for the drivers to get tucked up in the slipstream and potentially make a move into the next section, which is Brooklands. Use the curb on the right hand side to open up the entry. Be smooth on the brakes and steering through here to not unsettle the car. We then head it into the final corner of the lap, the final proper corner at least of Luffield. A lot of speed in, washes you wide in the middle, but that's okay as long as you can get on the power and get a good exit as we head flat out through Woodcote and a lap on board the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in the 2026 GB4 car.
Well, we're in the assembly area here. It was Luke Hilton for Nitrous Competitions with ADM Racing who was quickest in qualifying, but unfortunately was disqualified from both of those laps, which means that Fred Green is on pole position. The car we're looking at right now, the number 51 Elite Motorsports, not in their usual yellow, in a nice shade of orange, the McLaren orange there, as we'll explain a little bit later. Let's hear what Fred had to say when he spoke to Piers a little bit earlier on.
Fred, great to have you on the grid in 2026 in GB4. I've interviewed you a fair few times in karting in recent years, but you've had a pretty quick move up through the ranks. Juniors last year. That went pretty well. Tell everyone about your racing history.
Yeah, so I started off in karting, racing when I was 10. Sort of progressed through the ranks there to international European level. And then won the Ginetta Scholarship, which I was very grateful for. And then had a really good year in Ginetta Juniors with Elite. And now I've progressed with them into single seaters. So yeah, it's been good.
The Elite cars historically have been very yellow. Your car is very orange. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Elite have forged with McLaren to make a talent pathway. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that opportunity and looking forward to the future with them.
This is your first season in single-seater slicks and wings. You came from the Ginettas, which is a very, very different driving experience. Tell us how that transition's been and how Elite have helped you with that.
Yeah, for sure. Elite have helped massively. My engineer Simon Finnis is very experienced, and he's helped giving me all the tools that I need to progress and learn. And obviously, yeah, we're in a good position now. Slightly tricky. Most of the boys around me have done a year already, so sort of catching up with them. But yeah, I'm sure we'll give them a good run for their money.
It's very early days at this stage, of course, but you know, a good start to the year surely puts you in a good position. What's the plan for the year?
Keep chipping away, really. You know, achieve what I can. Swallow my pride when I need to and see where we end up. But obviously the goal is the championship. But yeah, I'm not getting too stressed about that.
Amazing. Early stages yet, but a good start to the year. Fred Green, great to have you in the championship.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Finally back to racing in the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, as we head to the home of British motor racing, and we are ready for a 29 car grid, a record grid here in GB4 to do action once again. Here's a look at the circuit we'll be racing. Of course, that run down into Copse, the opening corner, Angus, Beckett and Chapel before we throw it down the hanger straight and into Stowe. The Vale chicane sees us head out onto the Hamilton straight, then up through Abbey, and then of course the Village Loop section. The Wellington straight takes us down into Brooklands, and then of course Luffield, and back out onto the start-finish straight where we begin once again. 205 metres from pole position to the apex of the opening corner, and plenty of action will be seen amongst that. I cannot wait. We've already had some drama, some post-qualifying drama. Lewis McGlade, Piers Pryor in the commentary booth to take you through the weekend's action. Disqualification in qualifying from Cegelski and from Luke Hilton, who was our pole sitter. They'll be starting from the rear of the field. You can see the cars working around on their formation lap, and we're updating you with the grid. Fred Green will start from pole position alongside Alex O'Grady, who of course had a victory last season and 3 podiums along. Enzo Holman as well has a victory to his name in GB4 last year. He'll be starting from 3rd position alongside Del Grosso. Thomas Ingram Hill from 5th, then Jason Smith will start from 6th place. Behind that in 7th it's Dayton Coulthard in the all-black Douglas Motorsports car. Archie Davies in 8th for Scorpio Motorsports will start from 8th position. Then it's Connor Willis alongside Adjetav, who will be starting from 10th for the Elite Motorsports team. Outside of the top 10 it'll be Charlie Myers, a late addition to the field, starting alongside Romel Bouquet, starting from 12th position on the 6th row. Tyrone Byrne will start from 13th alongside Jordan Martin on debut for the series from 14th position for Fortec Motorsports, the American. And it is Conor Grant for Douglas. It is Dimitri Nolan for the Hillspeed in 16th position. We work our way to the back end of the top 20. Josh McLean on return alongside Michael Cope for Ardent Motorsports in 18th position. Then Lily Mae Watkins and Caitlin McDaniel for the Nitrous Competitions ADM racing car, starting from the back end of the top 20. Archie Bullard will start alongside Holly Mile on her return to the championship for KMR Sport, with Jamie Leverton for Idola starting alongside Selena Amarausch for Ardent. Then it is Jessica Askander and of course John O'Donnell for Pace Performance for the final 2 rows of the grid, seeing Ricciardo alongside Luke Hilton disqualified from qualifying, expecting a lot of pace to come out of him. Cegelski will start from 29th. Piers, we're ready to go. Conditions are perfect. 29 cars out onto the grid. This is going to be fantastic and thrilling, surely.
An absolutely record grid in GB4. Plenty of cars on circuit to give us some great racing action. Really, really stacked grid in terms of not only numbers, but also in terms of quality. You'll notice that the driver at the front of the field, the Elite Motorsport car, not in yellow, he's in orange of the McLaren talented driver of Fred Green. He would have been happy to see that he was actually promoted from qualifying. He was front row regardless, but only a few hundreds away from the fast time anyway. He'll be happy with his start to the season. But qualifying is one thing, racing, as we always say, Lewis, is another. Getting away from the line will be crucial, and then holding the rest of the field back. The 29 strong field.
Do remember as well, we do have the Rookie Cup to think of as well, the highest placed rookie drivers in the championship. We'll keep an eye on those as best we can throughout the races. It should be easily identified, the drivers whose names finish with the letter R. They'll be in brackets R after their name. Charlie Myers in 11th position is the highest qualified rookie driver. That is for drivers who have completed less than 3 races in a car. So you can do karting racing, but definitely not car racing if you want to be a part of the Rookie Cup. 20 minutes then go onto the clock, and that is a first for GB4. Normally our races have been 18 minutes in the past. Around here, with them doing roughly 2 minutes for one lap, it should be 10 laps of racing. A record 29 cars are put into position, and the racing is about ready to go. It is Fred Green on pole position in the orange car on the right-hand side. The left-hand side of your screen there is Alex O'Grady. Not a great start from Thomas Ingram Hill in the Fortec, the white and red Fortec there from 5th position. And as we lead down into the opening corner, it's a perfect start from Green. A look to the outside, though, coming in from Del Grosso, who's trying to take over 2nd position from Alex O'Grady, who's had a fantastic start. A couple of drivers way off the field, and it is Del Grosso moving his way up into 2nd. It's an elite 1-2.
Yeah, O'Grady holding station in 3rd place. As side by side we go through Maggots and Beckers. Ingram Hill recovering from that poor launch off the grid, and then Dayton Coulthard, you can see in that all black car there. He's for Douglas Motorsport, different livery, no stickers on his car, trying to make sure he's absolutely at the minimum weight limit. And you can see already our leader Fred Green weaving his way down towards Stowe for the first time.
Obviously, plenty of side-by-side there. That is Dayton Coulthard in the all-carbon Douglas Motorsports. Looks black on our screens, but certainly is exposed carbon on that. They've taken the paint off of it to try and keep his weight down a little bit. Of course, there is a minimum weight for all the drivers, but he's so big that sometimes he can go over it. He's being attacked, though, by the number 7 of Enzo Holman. He's trying to work his way through, and he certainly does, side-by-side behind that, as one of the Pace Performance cars tries to get itself inside the top 10.
Yeah, Holman, former teammate of Douglas, of Dayton Coulthard. Holman making the step over to Hillspeed, and now we've got to look up the inside, one of the Pace Performance cars, the 18, having a look. That's Torin Byrne in his first race in the GB4 Championship. Side by side they go through farm down towards Village now. The 99 of Connor Willis also trying to get involved, not quite getting that done. We go side by side into the loop still, and also more side by side action further behind.
87 Archie Davies there in the blue Scorpio car there, just trying to fend off the 99 that you were saying of Connor Willis there in the black and red Hillspeed car. I will correct myself, I keep saying orange. I know it is papaya. I'll get there, don't worry. Of the papaya in the 51 though of Fred Green is running away clear at the front. Big look to the inside then coming in from the 87 of Archie Davies, but can't quite do it. That distinctive blue and silver trying to work his way up the field. We've got the 22 there of Charlie Myers, the highest placed rookie driver, trying to hang on at the back end and just outside the top 10.
Yeah, he's been alongside Matan Achitov for a few corners now. They've gone side by side through Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcote, and now they go side by side in towards turn 1 at Cops to start this second lap of the race, and still they go side by side. Wide goes Achitov around the outside. We'll be coming back on. They're still side by side, Lewis, but it looks like the Arden car, the 22 of Charlie Myers, the rookie, has managed to hold on to that place just about, but all the while they're losing time. It's around the outside. That's an exceptional move. Not seen many people go around the outside of Beckett's before. What a move.
Yeah, Achitov making that progress, of course, for Elite, but a bit further down than their teammates who are currently going to do battle at the front of the field. Del Grosso's done a great job to move up into 2nd position on that race start. Did start this race from 4th. Enzo Holman dropped back to 6th on the race start, and that allowed Del Grosso to come through, but also a bit of a move there on Alex O'Grady, who in that grey and blue KMR sport car, obviously returning, same team, same driver, trying to find his pathway in this. He's going to be battling out with his fellow Irishman though, Jason Smith, who's been fantastic in the Formula Ford Pretty sure, didn't he win both the Formula 4 Festival and did he win the Walter Hayes Trophy at one point? I'm pretty sure he did.
Absolutely, an outstanding season last year for Jason Smith. He's the one that everyone was trying to beat, but now look at that, the number 8 in the white and red Fortec car of Thomas Ingram Hill, returning driver, invigorated is Thomas Ingram Hill. He's been right up there in the timesheets all of the pre-season tests ahead of this year, and he's looking to get involved with this battle for the top 4 positions, currently sitting in 5th place. And unfortunately we've seen this before, haven't we? Drivers trying to make a move, attacking and then not getting it done, then turns to the fences. Big squeeze as we head down towards Brooklands, but Ingram Hill's got the overlap and he's up the inside.
Yeah, great stuff from Thomas Ingram Hill here. He's trying to find his way through, kick of oversteer as he gets past the blue there of Smith. Ingram Hill has got 2 podiums to his name, yet to take a victory in the GB4 Championship, but you do feel like this season he's certainly going to find his way to the top step of the podium at some point. Enzo Holman now looking down the inside in the red and black Hill Speed car. Looks to the left-hand side of your screen as they go their way into Copse, but the blue there of Smith is able to hold on. Now this distinctive carbon fibre car of Dayton Coulthard will now find his way through in the number 28.
And Coulthard on that last lap, using the toe to get up to the back of this group, set the fastest lap of the race on this 3rd lap, 2:03.4, to the second or so away from where we were in qualifying. I don't think we'll quite get down to the times we saw on qualifying, but still a pretty hot pace at this stage. Look at that, the top, what's that? Down to Horman and Coulthard, 7 places, still pretty much nose to tail. Small gap then back to Willis and Davis onwards, but we still follow Coulthard through in the 28. Same team, same number, different livery for Coulthard this year. Ingram Hill's made that place. It was actually that move that Smith tried to make down towards this corner a lap ago was the thing that sort of set the chain of events off that saw him lose those positions. O'Grady defended well, and that's given him a bit of breathing room. But now we're looking at the back of the number 18 there of Torrin Byrne, who's under a huge amount of pressure from Willis and Davis.
Yeah, Davies is right on the rear end of the number 87 Scorpio Motorsports car. He was pretty aggressive a lap or so ago. Obviously we've completed 2 laps of the opening race of the season and expected 8 more from this point, or well really 7 by the time we get to the line. Great defence coming in from the number 99 of Willis as the up and under trying to happen here for Davies. Can't quite find the pathway through for that Scorpio car, and so we'll have to remain behind for now. Here is the battle though for Dayton Coulthard, trying to keep Enzo Holman at bay. Holman looks to the left hand side of your screen, to the outside of Brooklands in the red and black. Can he do it though, as he tries to get his hill speed all the way around the outside of Dayton Coulthard? Coulthard was getting aggressive earlier on and was showing some great speed as the fastest lap takes the up and under and will just about hang on to 6th position.
These two know each other very well, teammates all last year for Douglas Motorsport. Holman moving over to Hill Speed in the red car, the number 7. They went side by side. Holman, an excellent move around the outside of Brooklands, got ahead at the apex, but then the cut back from Coulthard, brilliant racecraft to hold on to that 6th place position.
Absolutely fantastic racing there between the pair of them. Del Grosso now 2nd position, sets the fastest lap he races. He tries to close down on his teammate Fred Green in a race lead. They go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell. It is Dayton Coulthard ahead of Holman in 6th and 7th position. This is the fight up towards the front, 0.6 of a second between Green and Del Grosso. O'Grady's dropping off of this one just a touch. That gap now to over a second to 2nd position. Thomas Ingram Hill keeping him close company with Jason Smith not too far behind. This is the fight, it's just to outside of the top 10 though, as we head back to the fight for the number 22, which belongs to Charlie Myers, of course the rookie leader at the moment, as he's trying to keep Bouquet and Grant at bay.
Here we go, side by side, 2 by 2, we go down towards Vale, the 87 on the inside. That's Archie Davies, just about, doesn't quite get alongside. And then also the Nitrous Competitions ADM car, the 42, in the back of shop of Luke Hilton. He's absolutely chopped his way through the field, absolutely at the back of the grid after that post-qualifying penalty. And he's already looking at the back of the top 10.
I'm just going to say, by the way, Willis and Davies have both dropped down. They were inside the top 10 at the start of the lap. And off the road goes the number 22 of Charlie Myers. Gets stuck in the gravel trap as they run their way through Farm Curve, the 2nd corner. Obviously when they go racing here on Grand Prix Sunday for the British Grand Prix, but for now that car looks like it might be stationary, and that could require the opening safety car of the 2026 season. 12 minutes left to go in the race, and Fred Green though is keeping the field at bay. The marshal straight over and it does seem as though Myers is getting out of the car.
It seems like it's only going to be a matter of time now before we have the safety car. No Team 2 driver radios in GB4, so they will be racing until they see those safety car boards, as they would have done even if they did have radios, but they won't have any knowledge of that. Especially these drivers at the front of the field. But it was Del Grosso, that previous lap, that had the fastest lap. But this lap by Green has extended the gap at the front of the field by 2 or 3 tenths and set the fastest lap en route 2:01.45. We're 8 tenths away from where we were in qualifying, which is with brand new tyres, cooler conditions. So pace is still very, very high at the moment. And unfortunately, you can see the dejected body language there of Charlie Myers. His first race in the GB4 Championship, unfortunately ending in the gravel, but good to see he is physically okay, car stopping in the gravel. The weaving to me suggests that there's probably a safety car board out on circuit, and that is confirmed now on the live timing. Safety car is out, will neutralise this race and undo all of the hard work that Green did on that last lap to gain a bit of a gap ahead of Del Grosso.
It is a big shame for the 22 of Charlie Myers, because courtesy of the issue to some degree as to what was happening there between Davies and Willis, because the pair of them did drop back a little bit, that meant that Myers was inside the top 10 and of course was the highest placed rookie driver. Anyone who is a rookie, those are the drivers that have done less than 3 car races. They are designated on your timing tower there on the left hand side of your screen. At the end of the name, it will be open brackets are closed brackets. Those ones designated those drivers with the Rookie Cup. He was the highest place of it. Now it will go to Connor Grant in the 54 Douglas Motorsports car.
Can we just, I think we should draw attention to Luke Hilton there. He was the fastest driver in qualifying, should have been going from pole position, but unfortunately during that qualifying session contravened some rules which saw him get disqualified. Luke Hilton last year had a very up and down season, absolutely rapid at times, didn't put it together sometimes, and also unfortunately got a few too many penalties. And you know, that penalty after qualifying, it could have seen him go in a downward spiral, but he's really matured this year. I spoke to him, as you may have seen in the pre-show. We spoke to him, I don't know if you've shown it actually, but I spoke to him this weekend ahead of the first race of the weekend, and he was really calm, collected, and you know, he's reflective on his last season. And I think he's really come this year with a championship bid and the mindset for that, and it proves it in this race. He started in 29th position, the biggest grid that we've ever had, and he's already up into, where's that, 13th place, and he's lapping faster, quite a lot faster than all the drivers around him. I don't think a top 10, maybe even a top 5 is even off the cards here for Luke Hilton. Then that actually would be brilliant damage limitation for a driver that, you know, he wants to come into this second season in GB4 for him and really stake his claim as one of the best drivers on the grid. And he said to me as well, he wants to go for that championship.
Yeah, I mean, he only had the single podium last year. That was at Snetterton in the second Snetterton race, and unfortunately for him, didn't actually take part in the season finale either, but obviously did go racing at the penultimate round at Brands Hatch, which obviously was cut short. We didn't get our third race at Brands Hatch. It was technically run at Donington Park. We had 4 races at the Donington Decider, but obviously with Hilton not being there, he wasn't able to take part in it. But throughout the season, he has shown some really, really good speed. Did show with just that, I know, just one podium. But I completely agree. I think the pole here was incredible, and a shame that he's not able to start from it. But it shows that pace is very clearly there. Did start on the front row back in Snetterton as well. Didn't qualify there.
Yeah, and it's also great to see ADM taking another step forward. They've got that nitrous competitions partnership now, which has really helped them invest into this season, and also the fact that they've been able to push forward and be a front-running team as well. It's great to see new teams. We've got a lot of, I say new teams, some of the teams are returning to the championship. We've got Scorpio, Idola as well, Pace Performance are returning too. A lot of the established guard, of course. We've got like Fox and KMR Sport, but it's really growing the GB4 Championship, and it's good to see that a lot of these teams and drivers are seeing that there's opportunities in GB4 and the grid. I mean, look how many cars we've got. It's great to see, and the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit really suits these cars, and with this many as well, it's great to see.
Obviously, I remember when we added this car last year and the grid took quite the jump. Great to see again all the hard work in the off-season once again paying off. A record grid to open the 2026 campaign. And to be fair, all things considered, the opening couple of laps there were really quite entertaining, and you'd hope that that's going to continue on once the safety car returns to the pit lane. Now, for the likes of Luke Hilton, he's hoping that safety car comes in ASAP, but at the moment, don't think they've quite got that car away, so it might be the end of the next lap.
Oh no, safety car lights
one.
are out. We're going to go racing this time. That car is pretty much removed. Great job by the Silverstone marshalling team and the race direction team as well to get us racing underway so we get as many racing laps as possible. Green in the orange car at the front, or should I say the papaya car at the front of the field, will slow the pack down and choose his moment to go. We saw in the GB3 race, Nikita Bedrin chose to go quite early. We're past where Bedrin went. Some of these drivers will watch the previous races to see what other drivers are doing. But Green taking them through Brooklands corner. He's going to try and get a gap, and I think he's potentially thinking about going some point in the middle of Luffield, because you do not want to be under pressure. As soon as you're defending, you're losing lap time, and that could be then you're under pressure for the remainder of the race. It seems like we've gone racing. A good safety car restart from Fred Green as we drive away with 6 minutes remaining in this race.
Great restart from Fred Green. Del Grosso, O'Grady, Ingram Hill, Smith, Coulthard, Holman, Byrne, Willis and Bouquet, the top 10. 6 minutes left to go in the race. Should realistically be 3 laps from this point, and already some moves happening here as they go through the opening corner. Hilton already potentially getting past one there. He does, up into 11th position, Hilton, into the opening corner of the restart. There's Dayton Coulthard trying to find his way past Jason Smith in the top 5. Those two are teammates. Yes, they're in very different liveried cars. The blue there of the Douglas of Jason Smith and the carbon fibre of Dayton Coulthard in 6th position, his teammate directly behind.
Yeah, Hallman actually under pressure now from Torren Byrne as a poorish run out of Chapel means he's going to be under pressure. Fred Green's running away with this at the front of the field, but Dayton Coulthard once again having a look up the inside on Smith. Smith, the reminder, the driver that's extremely experienced in single-seaters, but not with wings and slicks, comes from a Formula Ford background. One, as you mentioned, was pretty much everything last year, and also we've got more fighting as up the inside of the pace performance car go. Hallman holds on to that just about, but can his exit be good enough to hold that off too? It's another position from Luke Hilton. Is that make him inside the top 10 now? I think he is, just got past Bouquet.
Indeed, into 10th position comes our pole sitter, however disqualified at the start from the rear of the field, is showing fantastically in this race, as we'll see Luke Hilton into the top 10. This is the fight at the moment for 5th position, and hanging on to that 5th is Jason Smith. Green is running away. Del Grosso behind, O'Grady, Ingram Hill and Smith. They're side by side behind all of this.
Yeah, here we go, side by side. That was a big lunge up into the loop there from the Hill Speed car. Is that Hallman still, or is that Bouquet? I can't quite tell, but Hilton, 2 wheels on the grass, looking to make it 3 wide, decides that maybe that's not the best option here, and we now go side by side also into Brooklands, and Hilton is going to slice around the outside. That's a brilliant move from Hilton. I think on Willis actually, wasn't it?
Indeed he did. So up into 9th position. Getting past Willis, was trying to do the double, as Willis now tries to keep Bouquet at bay at the back end of the top 10, and certainly will for now. We've got 4 minutes left to go, so there'll be 2 laps from this point as they all tick over the line. We'll see that progress. Hilton up to 9th position. Byrne the next one for him. I think a top 5 might be off the table just a touch. I think that gap's maybe a little bit too large, but every position he makes up now is worth way more points in the championship, and he'll be wanting to work his way through. Here he comes on Torren Byrne to the outside as they go into Maggotts, Beckers and Chapel. The red and blue car there, the 42, that's what we've been talking about all the time. Absolutely fantastic drive from Hilton in that number 42 to come from the back of the grid to 8th.
He is absolutely on a mission here, is Luke Hilton. Reminder, he has gained 21 positions, and we've had a safety car in this race. Outstanding drive so far. If he just finishes where he is now, it's amazing, but he's going to push on. I think he's got the pace to try and close the gap, but only have this lap and one more.
Even Tchaikovsky, who started from the rear of the field with him, has done a great job to get inside the top 20, has gained 10 or so positions, which normally would be like, that's fantastic, but it's just how strong Hilton's been to have gained 10 more on top of that.
He's gained 4 car lengths through Vale and Club alone. He's absolutely on it is Hilton in this one, and now defensive has to go Byrne as he's now the one under pressure, and Hilton scampers away. But we cut back to the front of the field. Fred Green, he's got that gap over a second now. He's pretty much got this under control. That would be a dream start to his single-seater campaign. He's been very successful, winning races in Ginetta Juniors last year, just coming up short of the championship, but we know how good he is, and he's got the backing of McLaren already. But then his teammate of Del Grosso right behind, he's following suit. O'Grady now the one looking is to pressure for that second step on the podium.
One of the hill speeds there off the road. I think that was Dimitri Nolan in about 15th position, is now going to lose a couple of spots as the Fortec duo will work their way through. So unfortunately losing just a touch there. He's going to try and stick to the outside. Will Nolan? Will he be able to hang on to that? It's the 88 of Jordan Martin. So Tugelski's already come through. That's the one in the foreground he shot. The red and black there. The number 6 of Dimitri Nolan losing out, but was able to keep Jordan Martin at bay in the other white and red Fortec car. Final lap of the race, 1.8 seconds for Green.
Martin looks at the inside of Cops. Can she get it done? Yes. No, not quite, unfortunately. Front wheel to rear wheel contact, and that's going to be the end of the race for the number 8 and probably also Jordan Martin as well. So the number 6, my mistake. The number 6 going off end of the race, Dimitri Nolan, so close. I mean, ultimately that was a late move. We didn't see quite exactly what position they were alongside with the camera angle, but unfortunate contact ends the race for both of those drivers.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again there, even between some of the very best in Formula One. So it certainly can happen. At the moment, the best of the field at the moment is this driver here, Green, once again massively clear of Del Grosso, who's I think going to have a bit of pressure on his shoulders from O'Grady by the time they go into Brooklands. Out of the car though comes Dimitri Nolan, and again a disappointing end to the day, I'm sure.
Yeah, very disappointing. It's hard to tell from the angle we saw whether it was Nolan cutting across Martin or Martin doing an optimistic move, but it's barely a break. In fact, you don't break into cups at all. It's just a lift in qualifying conditions. Let's have a look at this again. Looks like Martin got quite a long way alongside on the entry, but then maybe backed out a little bit. Again, we haven't got enough angles there. The stewards and the race direction team will have all the angles, the onboard cameras and the circuit CCTV to have a look at that and make a judgment call on that. But it looks like we're going to continue racing to the end of this lap.
Indeed, and it is the last one. We've got Thomas Ingram Hill going on the attack of O'Grady, two of those drivers that were racing last season. And through the final corner, it's going to be the elite driver, the McLaren-backed driver. It's the Papaya of Green going for gold. Victory in the opening race of the GB4 Championship goes the way of Fred Green. Del Grosso will cross the line in second, and O'Grady will make it onto the podium once again. Brilliant drives from our top 3. Thomas Ingram Hill will miss out on the podium by less than 0.2 of a second. Got to give that big shout out again to Luke Hilton, 8th position from 28th on the grid. Incredible stuff.
Brilliant drive from Hilton, but ultimately the man of the day, Fred Green. He controlled the race, did everything he needed to. At the start of the race, it looked like it was coming under pressure. I think there's more action further down the order on that last lap. 3 abreast nearly. That's the 34, no, not the 34, the 54 of Connor Grant, just taking a trip through the grass in the last lap at Luffield, dropping down the order, unfortunately for him. But O'Grady set that fastest first sector of the race on that last lap, but the fastest lap also goes to Green. So pole, fastest lap, race win for Fred Green, the successful karter. And he's the one that took the victory in that left rear puncture, which will be why Grant took a trip through the grass.
And also, unfortunately, there for Connor Grant, that will actually cost. Not that we have a separate podium for it, but something just to keep an eye on. Would not be the highest placed rookie now, courtesy of that issue. It now would go over to Sigelski, who started from the rear end of the field to move up into 15th position, which in its own right, great drive to have found the way all the way up into that.
Yeah, no doubt. As a rookie as well to come through the field, it's a great effort from Jagielski. I think Del Grosso and Green are going to be 2 drivers. They raced for the same team, different livery, but raced for the same team in Elite. Elite was so strong last year, weren't they, Lewis? They were pretty much dominant. Clearly, Elite have still got a good package underneath them, but they were pretty close this time. I think they're going to be ones that are going to be doing battle a number of times this season, and good to see O'Grady coming back for a second season and being right up there taking podiums from the get-go.
I mean, to say elite with a team to beat would be an understatement from last year. Dan Ginchard gave it a good go in the Hill Speed, who clearly worked very well with this car, but elite in the hands of Isaac Phelps, of Alex Catula, so of course is racing in GB3 now, and of course our champion Ari Bansal. They were the dominant force, and not by a small margin over the rest of the field. They won the team's championship. It almost felt like at the first weekend they were that strong.
It really did. They were the class of the field, and with a good driver lineup again this year, they're going to be hard to beat. But I spoke to O'Grady ahead of this first race, and he said that the team KMR Sport, this was one of their worst tracks, if not their worst track last year. But this year they've come back, they've worked hard away in the off season. O'Grady stayed with them, and it's paid off for him because now he's on the podium. And if they're going to be, if KMR Sport can get a podium at the weakest track last year, then O'Grady reckons he's got a good chance of the title, because when they go somewhere where they were good last year, they're going to be even better. So Greg Green's the man of the moment for now. He's definitely not going to have it his own way this season, but take nothing away. Brilliant start to his season.
Yeah, there is Emilio Valentino Del Grosso out of the car, straight into the hands of the team. And friends, I'm sure, Fred Green, who, like I say, first race, first victory. For Alex O'Grady, it will be a 4th podium in GB4. Of course, the highlight of all of that would have been that excellent victory at Alton Park in the unbelievably difficult conditions. No unbelievably difficult conditions about it here today, though. Blue skies, absolutely beautiful conditions out there, and a great drive into 3rd. I'm sure, still finishing on the podium, you're going to be a little bit disappointed that it wasn't the top spot, but starting out the season as you mean to continue, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of these top 3 drivers again and again and again as the season unfolds. And even tomorrow, of course, where we'll probably see yet another drive from the back of the field from the likes of Hilton and Sigalski. He'll be starting from the rear of the field for all 3 races this weekend. We'll see a little bit of a jumbled up order in tomorrow's race, courtesy of the grid order being taken from their 2nd fastest lap times from qualifying. That's for tomorrow to be dealt with. For now, these drivers can just enjoy the moment. Let's head down though to Jon Jackson to catch up with our podium finishers.
Thank you very much, Lewis. As we can see, Fred is he going to have a photo? No, maybe not, I don't know. Eddie Ives there celebrating with Fred. 1 win from 1 race in GB4 for Elite Motorsport. First race win, first race. How did that feel out there?
Yeah, it was good. The track was a bit tricky compared to qualifying, so a bit trickier than expected, hence the mistake on early doors. So yeah, a bit disappointed about that. But then the rest of the execution was really good, and I couldn't be happier. And so chuffed for my teammate coming 2nd as well. Honestly, couldn't be happier. Yeah,
huge celebrations from Eddie and the team. You got a little bit of luck before the race started by inheriting pole position, but I imagine you probably still felt you could have won the race regardless.
For sure, I would have gave it a good go. Obviously, it's never nice to gain from someone else's misfortune, but we did our job and didn't put a foot wrong, and hence why we were on pole and won the race. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Same again tomorrow?
That's the plan. I don't see why not, but yeah, obviously these boys are very competitive, so it's not going to be easy, but yeah, we'll have a good go.
What would you say is the main thing that you've taken away from your first GB4 race, other than obviously knowing how to win?
I was quite happy with my start then, actually. Compared to my testing ones, it was quite good, so that was a relief. But yeah, just the pressure of getting your first race done, really. Obviously, I overestimated the cold tyres on lap 1 and went off. So yeah, there's small things to take, but overall, I think it was quite a good first effort.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 race, 1 win. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Big celebrations here. We've got the Venezuelan flag out here, as we can see, celebrations as well. We're having big celebrations here. Yes. How do you feel? Yeah, I love this, the Venezuelan flag. So you've done 1 race, you've won one race, you've got 1 podium. Yes. How do you feel?
It feels amazing. We've really built up to this moment, and I have so many people I want to thank. It's been incredible.
This is your moment to thank them.
Yes, thank you everyone at Elite and mi padre, my mom, the whole country. I want to represent them at the highest stage, and we almost got there. We still have a chance, but it's been incredible. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom, and team, and everyone involved. It's wow. I'm still speechless.
Who's watching back home? You're more than welcome to speak to them if they're watching now.
Bueno, gracias para ver. Padre, ti amo molto, grazie per questa opportunità. E questo è incredibile per me. Thank you everyone for Venezuela watching. Gracias, gente. Voy a representarte al top, te lo prometo, un día. So yeah, that's incredible.
There we go. And for the team as well, huge result.
Mate, it's elite motorsport. What can I say? It's incredible. Like they've gave me this car to be P2, and we didn't expect this, but this is amazing.
We'll let you get 2 more chances to have an even better weekend, so we'll let you go.
Thank you, boss.
There we go. Emilio, we're having a great weekend celebrating there. Alex, good to see you again. 4th podium in GB4, that's a good start to the season, very solid.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, we didn't expect to be, P1 on Friday in the times, and the car was working very well. Just this race here with the British GT rubber went completely slow, and we were struggling for front end. So anytime I got close to Emilio, it was really just understeering, and then I ended up getting backed into Thomas. So yeah, shame about the start. I think we could have almost won that race with Fred going off at T1 the lap after, but still, at Silverstone last year we were absolutely nowhere, so we've made big steps forward, and hopefully we can keep this going throughout the year.
Yeah, huge progress. What can you do overnight knowing what you know now from that race?
Try and get a better start, really. It's always been a weak point for me, but it wasn't horrendous, definitely room for improvement. And yeah, I think tomorrow I'm starting P4 because my second best lap wasn't very good. So yeah, hopefully we can just move forward and get another podium.
Well, I think you've already shown you've got the pace to make a better finish from where you start. So congratulations on another podium. We'll let you go and get your trophy.
Thanks very much.
There we go, Alex McGlade there with KMR Sport. As I say, 4th podium so far in GB4, and I mean the celebrations going on behind the scenes here at Elite are continuing, but they've got to go to the podium. Richard Randall is getting Emilio to go and get his trophy alongside our race winner Fred Green. Lewis will talk you through the podium.
First podium of 21 of them this season, laid out and ready to see yet another couple of elite motorsports drivers. As we were mentioning earlier on the broadcast, they have been the force to be reckoned with, and great to see the 2 teammates there. Fred Green, left-hand side of your screen, and Del Grosso there on the right, who honestly might win the award of actually happiest driver I've ever seen to take a podium. Normally they're all a bit, so some of them are pretty happy all the time, but I've got to say I'm already a fan of that. A lot of energy and well deserved after a great drive into second position and a 1-2 for Elite. Yet another one after over the first few rounds of last year when they were the dominant force. Yes, Dan Ginchard was the one that held it to them, but this year they're starting out as they ended. There is Alex O'Grady onto the podium. I was having a little bit of a look at his previous race results. Remember, said his best performance was 5th place in the 5th time we did a race around Silverstone last year. Del Grosso, of course, wasn't racing in the championship at that point. Only raced for the first time this event here today. And we'll take to the second step of the podium. To the top step, though, it is Fred Green. Brilliant drive, excellent performance, dominating performance. A way to seal a very well-deserved victory. Will there be one up for grabs tomorrow, though, when we go racing in the second race tomorrow morning? And of course, that all-important reverse grid race. It is so important if you're wanting to win a championship to make the most of that reverse grid race tomorrow afternoon. But the drivers here can at least end this day pretty happy indeed. They have their trophies, they are ready, and I'm sure they'll be having a good breather tonight. Let's go, though, to highlights from the first race of the season. Highlights from round 1 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Fred Green leading us away from pole position, with Alex O'Grady just about trying to hang on to second position. But it was an excellent start from Del Grosso on the race down into the opening corner, who'd looked to the outside to try and steal away second position. Green had the whole shot and was leading us down into the opening corners. As we go through Maggotts, Beckers and Chapel, they certainly would be indeed. Hilton would be way off the road on his charge up from the rear end of the field, and the side-by-side would continue even behind those race leaders as they were all trying to jostle for position and just keep themselves on the road and in contention. The side-by-side wasn't just for Maggots Beckers and Chapel, it was for all round the circuit. Dayton Coulthard going side-by-side with his old teammate Enzo Holman as they go back out onto the start-finish straight. They would be side-by-side towards the opening corner, where they go back to single file in advantage of Dayton Coulthard. Unfortunately, Charlie Myers would retire from the race, bringing out the safety car, and when we got back racing, everything was once again very tight, but a perfect restart from our race leader in the Papaya. It was Fred Green running away with things as best he could. Meanwhile, Enzo Holman was having to deal with the staunch pressure of Torrin Byrne, who was trying to find his way through into 7th position with a lot of pressure, even then going on to Byrne's shoulders as the hill speed then would go on the attack. And that number 42, of course, of Luke Hilton, starting from 28th position, trying to get inside the top 10. This move around the outside of Byrne would give him to 8th position, gaining 20 positions in just the single race of 20 minutes of racing. Further down the order, unfortunately, there would be this late retirement for the number 6 of Dimitri Nolan after contact with one of the four techs. Meanwhile, Fred Green would come across the line to win the opening race of the 2026 season. Just absolute perfection. Seeing it once again, it was just a well-managed race. That restart was perfect, the race start was perfect, and it would be the perfect result at the end of it. Victory, of course, provisionally for Fred Green, and a 1-2 for Elite Motorsports. Del Grosso taking 2nd position, and Alex O'Grady, the podium we've just heard from. Thomas Ingram Hill, I'm sure, will be a little bit disappointed to miss out by just 0.2 of a second, and Jason Smith, great drive up into 5th. Dayton Coulthard with Enzo Holman, the two old teammates, will finish in 6th and 7th, with Hilton up from the rear in the grid to 8th position. Byrne and Willis will round out the top 10. Behind that, it'll be Bouquet, then McLean, then Davies and Atchitov. Tchaikovsky was starting from the rear end of the field as well, from 29th up to 15th. Pretty solid drive, 14 positions gained, and the highest placed rookie on the field. It's then Watkins, McDaniel, O'Donnell, Mile and Grant ending up, unfortunately, dropping down the order late on. Iskander, then we've got Martin, of course, Leverton, Bullard, Armrausch, then it was Ruggiero, and of course Coe. A lap down would be Nolan after the retirement late on the penultimate lap of the race, and Charlie Myers retiring a few laps before the end, unfortunately rounding out our 29 car field. But for Fred Green, pole position, tick. Victory, tick. Even got the fastest lap as well, and led every single one of the laps this afternoon. Can he copy and paste that one into tomorrow's race? That will be a tall order, I'm sure. We'll keep our fingers crossed the conditions remain exactly the same, because it's been a perfect day for racing, and I'm sure they'll be aiming once again for very much the same. We'll go down though to Piers, who's in the paddock.
Oh, wait, I got to get the... Thanks very much. Yeah, we're down here with some of the drivers who John is, watch out, John is nearly getting run over in the back of shot there, losing his ankle. Sorry, we're down here in the paddock getting some reaction from some of our drivers who didn't quite make the podium, and the most disappointed man, I reckon, after qualifying, after being fastest and then unfortunately not getting to start from pole position, was this man. However, you turned it around there. What a drive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, it's racing at the end of the day. It was my fault that I lost the double pole because of just, yeah, like, I just got to be a bit mindful that I have to be a bit better on the rules, you know, like, but other than that, you know we have the pace. I knew that we had the pace in the race, so let's just see what we can do. I just made sure, like, I was extra careful coming through the pack, and I think we just had a nice drive up to near the front, I think. Team did a mega job for the race car, how they set up the car for the race, because obviously you got to think, now that we're not on a hot lap in qualifying, you got to convert now to the race, and you're going to suffer dirty air, stuff like that. So, you know, the team did a mega job and had setting up the car, handling dirty air, you know. And do you know what? It was good fun coming through. I know it's a shame I didn't start from pole. I think I would have got P1 and won the race from there. But, you know, it's racing at the end of the day. You know, you just learn from your mistakes and go from there, to be honest. But I think we collected a decent amount of points, I think.
Absolutely, you thanked a lot of people there. The team did a good job, but you had to drive through the field there. You had to make the overtakes. You had to make the decisions, and you can't have made many wrong decisions in that race to go through. Was it plus 28? Plus 21, 22 places?
Oh, I didn't know it was that much, but yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I think I kept my nose kept my nose clean, because in this sort of racing, you really have to, like, be careful where you're placing the car, you know, in terms of where you place the car dirtier, so you'll be able to have a good front end turning in, you know, not getting your front wing absolutely demolished, you know. It's all little things, but, you know, at the end of the day, I just tried to keep it clean, tried to get on with my race, you know, getting in them fast laps, acting as if it was quality, and getting in them laps, staying consistent. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think I'm happy with today. Could have gone better, could have gone different, but you know, as I said, it is what it is. It's one of them things. It's in the past, box it, and then try and do my best as I can in the race. You know?
I look forward to seeing you try and do the same thing again tomorrow. It'll be entertaining if you can. So Luke Hilton, congratulations on a good bounce back. We'll grab Dayton Coulthard next. Luke, go and celebrate with the team. Dayton, come in this side for me. Dayton, great to have you back on the grid. You've returned with Douglas Motorsport as well, so clearly a good working relationship there, and that was a good result. You look really racy. Some really nice moves there.
Yeah, no, it was always going to be chaos, first race of the year. So it was just kind of trying to keep it on the tarmac and make my way through.
I enjoyed the battle you had with former teammate Enzo Horman in the 7, the hill speed car. Got you around the outside of Brooklands, but then you had a little cheeky cut back in Luffield. That was enjoyable to watch. Really good, respectful racing between you guys. I know you guys know each other quite well.
Yeah, no, we get along great. So it's the biggest nightmare would be crashing into each other. But it's quite hard to follow each other when it's, you know, here a high-speed track. There's quite a lot of error wash, so it's really kind of gets a bit ballsy, we'll say, at times. But yeah, it was good.
Amazing. And also, tell us a bit about that stealth livery as well. It looks pretty good on circuit.
Well, as much as it looks nice, it's about weight. So that's our weight saving. Is there's a bit of weight in the vinyl, so we're going to be black for the rest of the year.
And also, it's not because there's absolutely no extra fat on you whatsoever. Just as one of our taller drivers, you want to make sure that you've got equal opportunity in terms of minimum weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Dayton, thanks very much for chatting to us. That's all we've got time for now. I'll bring in Jon Jackson. We'll chat to some more of our drivers in a few moments after the show.
Livery, you a fan?
I love a carbon livery. Love it.
No messing around. Looks mean.
Yeah.
That's what you want, isn't it? Sorry, you were saying we're going to chat to some of the other drivers.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we'll bring it to you before the second race of the weekend tomorrow. My mic's not on apparently. Well, I'm afraid it is. Yeah, I'll have to talk to you. We'll have to double team it. Hello. Right. We're just saying we're going to speak to some of the other drivers now. We'll bring you that before the race starts tomorrow morning. That was less chaotic than I was expecting, Piers.
It could have been worse. 29 drivers on the grid, all of them together, dicing side-by-side action. Unfortunate couple of small incidents, but considering so many of them, I think it was a really good start to our 26th season.
It was indeed. I think this works now. Does this work now? It looks like it. I'm getting thumbs up. Yeah, it was an excellent start, and there's a lot of drivers out there who are making their debuts and doing incredible jobs there to be able to keep on the track and actually, finish a race. Like, you have to remember that, it's quite a long 20 minutes. I bet it feels like it goes really quick, but also goes incredibly slow as well when it's your first races in the GB4 Championship as well as the GB3 Championship, of course. We next race tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. We go into the second race of the weekend, which is decided on that second qualifying session. And then, of course, Piers, we have the reverse grid race. So 9 a.m. is the second race, and then later on in the day at 4:15 is the reverse grid race. Piers, just remind us what happens in the reverse grid race.
Oh, we have a partial reverse grid, which means that the drivers who are fast in qualifying find themselves in the mid-pack, and then they have to fight their way through, and you get bonus points for every position you gain from your starting grid.
And we've already heard from Luke Hilton. I mean, he's going to have to do that in every race, right?
He is, absolutely. And he's done it. He's gone pretty much plus 20 something in one race one, so he's going to have to try and emulate that if he wants to leave this weekend with some good points, because I think he's a championship hopeful if he can get qualifying right.
It's going to be a subplot this weekend. It's going to be waiting to see if he can make up more places than he did today in those two races. It's going to be fascinating to see. That was the first race then of the GB4 Championship in 2026. It did deliver as we expected, and it wasn't as chaotic as we'd expected as well. Lots of great driving out there, and we expect loads more this weekend. Join us from 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, exactly where you're watching now, and of course you'll be able to watch highlights very, very soon on the GB4 Championship social media pages, and you can check out all the classified results when they're posted on the GB4 website. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for more from the GB4 Championship.